There's kind of a long answer to this question that involves, being a freshman in high school after September 11th happened, and then sort of just needing to process how the world changed so quickly and how I felt as a teenager in that moment. But the short answer is that I kind of just wanted to write a book that had everything I loved in it, which is why you get classic rock, superpowers, romance, and a road trip. So I actually have two ways of pitching this to people, depending on the person, but I'll give you both. The first way I like to describe it is that it's sort of X-Men-ish meets Stand By Me. And the other way I like to talk about it just more generally is that it's the story of a group of teenagers who have these incredible powers of the mind and are on the run from a government who's doing whatever it can to try to contain them and contain their power. I think all authors secretly hope that their book gets turned into a movie, but if you go into writing a book thinking that, you're not doing justice to the story or characters, so you have to focus on the book first and focus on making it the best possible book it can be. And then, at other times you can kind of daydream about who you would cast, who you would want to direct it, what the film would look like. But yeah, I never thought the movie would happen, and then it happened. So I feel like I was the most surprised out of everyone. I'm not supposed to say I'm sworn to secrecy, but you can look for me at the end of the movie. I'm kind of a blur, but you'll see me. My scene is approximately maybe 30 seconds long, but it did take me over an hour to film because I am not an actor whatsoever. And I'm also kind of a klutz, and those two things do not work well together. My advice with any book-to-film adaptation is to keep an open mind, because storytelling, I can do things on the page that the filmmakers can't do, and vice versa. So it's really fascinating to see how the story can be adjusted to fit each medium. And I really think what The Darkest Minds film does so well is that it captures what I love most about The Darkest Minds book, which are the characters, the feeling of the world, the looming dread. I feel like Darkest Minds book fans will be very happy with The Darkest Minds movie. I'm so glad you asked. In fact, there is a really cool photo spread inside. It's 8 pages long and has stills from the movie, and it actually includes a sneak peek of what my cameo is, too. I have really wanted to come back to the Darkest Minds world eventually. I just wanted to wait for the right idea to come around. So what's next is actually a new book in the series. It's sort of like half sequel, half companion, sequel-panion. There's not a word for that, but it is set about 5 years after the end of In the Afterlight, which is book 3, and we have a new narrator, which is Zoo, and she's all grown up and now has to go kind of on her own adventure, but you still get to see the old gang. They, of course, make some appearances. Yes, let's talk about Zoo. I really wanted to write a story from her perspective because she is in this interesting position of being the youngest member of that friend group in the original trilogy, and we literally don't get to hear that much from her in those first 3 books. So I really, in my head, was trying to imagine her experience, how she processed it emotionally, everything that was happening around her. And now she's an adult, she's all grown up, and she has an important role to play. And the story is really about how she ultimately has to decide how to use her voice, her very powerful voice, I might add. The most popular fan question that I've been getting about The Darkest Legacy is, will we see Ruby, Liam, Chubbs, Vita? And the answer is yes. I worked very hard to get everybody into this book, including someone who is hopefully going to be a surprise.